So let's go right into it, man. Why are we doing what we doing? Okay, later, dog. Good talk.
We're doing what we're doing. Put a little bit out there for some extra. Why are we doing what we're doing, Josh? What's the dealio, man?
Well,
So
we's the Blender Boys, man. We get to blend it up. We're gonna bring to the light all the perks and privileges that veterans have earned for their services to this country,
yeah, for sure.
and making sure that they got a good foot up when they get out. And if they tune into us, they'll be abreast the latest and greatest of information coming through mainstream via colleges, via DAV, via the VA itself. And we're just going to key them up to everything that they have at their fingertips to utilize to get a leg up in this business world that we live in now.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the same thing that as me and Josh. I mean, we just became acquainted with one another back September when we first started college, and we both met on the premise that obviously I knew that he was a veteran and I was a veteran, and just through talking with one another, it quickly evolved into seeing each other's same thoughts, ideas. There was a mission there, and a place from the heart that I think changed.
Yeah,
we just immediately melded together.
Yeah, I think we both are just kind of tired of seeing our brothers and our sisters that get out fail and fall victim to the society that we have now that unfortunately isn't very conducive for many soldiers coming back off of deployments and trying to readjust.
And I think that's just...
And a lot of it, I believe, has to do with the way that they cycle us out when we do leave. We're supposed to be briefed on things that are available to us, but all too often they just neglect to identify those things when we are discharging.
Yeah.
And so you're just kind of left to your qualms when you get out, and you kind of just have to go through the... I don't want to call them failures because I don't believe in failure, but it's just you go through those moments in life that are, we'll call them undulations, we'll call them learning curves or speed bumps of life. Yeah. And unfortunately for vets, we are hard driven, but when we run into so many obstacles, we tend to just disengage from that and go to something else. And there's no reason to disengage anymore. If you have enough information at your fingertips, and that's going to be what we do. We're going to provide them with the information so that failure can't be a word for them either.
Yeah.
I think that's really what we have in common, is that our passion is to keep our vets coming back and keep them strong and making them a part of society, a very important part of society.
I think that's what has been evolving over this last 3 months together, is we're trying to streamline all of this information and knowledge and connect you as quick as possible to the people that are there, the benefits that are available, and people are just not talking about it.
Yeah.
And there's just a
that's how we got to where we're at. We went through the hits, through the ups, the downs, the dead ends, the hurry up and wait forever and never hear anything back.
Yeah.
And we just kind of got tired of that. And so the reason that there's multiple reasons we're doing this, to help our fellow vets out, but also to put the light on those who fail at their jobs, to help us, that lack the ability to follow through with their job details when it comes to veterans. And all too often they just skate right by and push the veteran off to the side. And at face value they'll tell them one thing, but when the face value's gone, they just drop the ball.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me many times.
100%.
And so I think, us both having gone through that kind of readjustment phase, because that's what it's been, is a readjustment, we're kind of tired of it. And so now we're creating a platform where we can not only help our veterans benefit, by giving them the information, even having speakers that come out, and also throwing shade on those that aren't there for us when they should be.
Yeah.
We're also going to be highlighting things in our local community, here in Oklahoma, in Lawton, Oklahoma, and not so much for everybody else, but just for those that are here. We have Fort Sill in the area, which is really important. So we're going to be doing all that.
Yeah, there's a lot that I'm seeing that's coming to the table for the Blender Boys, because I mean, this is a culture of also speaking of failure that you were talking about. I come back to thinking when I got out in 2015 January, I was so. It happened. The process of leaving the military and being medically discharged happened so fast. My head was spinning.
Yeah,
and I was in no mental condition. I was
for sure.
They had just put me on a spell of I don't know how many eight different medicines, concoctions,
and
that they
counting,
had
and counting.
So by the time I was getting out, my head was spinning, and it was devastating to me. I felt like I had lost a child.
Yeah.
Because I believed in that career. I was there for 20 years. I was going to do it.
Yep.
And I think when we talk about failure, I went through 5 jobs,
right.
5 different jobs, to realize that I don't
after
fit
exiting.
in.
After
exiting, I went through 5 jobs to realize that I didn't fit in. But in my mind at the time, I was thinking negative. I was like, "Oh man, I can't fit in. Because I'm crazy. Because I'm this. Because I got PTSD, and all these different stereotypes just rose up in my head."
Yep.
Instead of me realizing now, since I've come to the light, and we'll get into that in many podcasts.
Yeah, we'll get into all
I'm just trying to do it in a nutshell here real quick.
Yeah.
Because me and you both could talk for days.
For sure.
But the reality of really quick, since I've seen the light, of understanding that my path is an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Like my mindset from combat to being in uniform to now being a civilian is completely different. There's no reason for me to be ashamed of my PTSD. There's no reason to be ashamed of why I don't fit in with civilian people, and that's okay. We love our civilians. That's what we protect our family.
Exactly.
But we are a different I don't want to say different caliber of mindset.
We're just geared different.
You're geared different when you go through combat. You're different when you have been shot at.
Yeah. It's all about Semper Gumby.
Right.
Semper Gumby. Being flexible, and we as veterans. Active duty, we know what that's like. Yeah. We know what having to be flexible is like. Not everything goes the way it should, but it's on us to readjust and reacclimate yourself to still hit that mission goal. You still want to complete it, and if anything, veterans and military members, this is what we're geared for. We're geared. This
is the power of the breakthrough for me, brother.
We're geared as leaders. I mean, that's what we're groomed for, especially those who have served over 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, however many years. Once you get past that certain amount of years, now you're geared as a leader. Yeah. That's what you're geared for, and so I think that's why veterans are a pivotal role in the future of the U.S. And it starts with a drop. I'm not saying we're going to make that huge difference, but we are going to make a difference. Yeah. And that's our goal.
So, I mean, and that's our goal. This is what has been happening
as
our friendship has grown,
So this is how we're going to do it. The first 10 minutes of our podcast will consist of groups that we will identify each day. That we do a podcast. So say the next podcast will be first 10 minutes is covering the DAV. So then we'll focus on them. We'll put out the information that's applicable to veterans.
So you're saying kind of like
we'll highlight them.
So what we've ran into in the week or information we found out. An organization.
We'll plug that. Okay. We'll plug that. Specifically for veterans, and we're going to keep it very...
Are we trying to do interviews?
Yeah, we'll do interviews.
Are we just trying to kind of say, hey, this is DAV, this is what it's good for, this is the uses?
No, I mean, we already have some point of contacts through Erica we've met on campus. She's a big representative for the veterans on campus at Cameron. And, it's on us to do that legwork, which we'll do. We'll make our contacts, I'll make the contacts, and see if we can't actually go out and do an interview on the fly with them in their element.